So I just went outside for the first time in about, I want to say just under a week. So the last time I went out was to drop my friend back home Thursday, and it's now Tuesday of the next week. It was interesting for people who don't live in the UK or just haven't heard the news. UK went into lockdown last night, and so I was like, okay, I might be a bit safe. So we're allowed to go on walks, go and buy essential food and supplies, and to go to medical appointments. Those are the three things we're allowed out for. And I was actually really surprised with the amount of people outside and the amount of businesses still open. So for a bit more context, I am a second year uni student living in the city centre of Nottingham, and so one, it's already quite a big city, so I don't know why I was actually that surprised, and then two, it's only a day after lockdown. But I do have some thoughts on like how people were acting and stuff, so I'm gonna talk about that a little bit. So I really just wanted to go on a walk. I hadn't been outside again for nearly a week now, and I think my boyfriend was a bit like, it's kind of taking a toll on your mental health a little bit, so you should probably go outside. I live in a studio flat. One, my window is very high up. Two, it faces a 5-story building. 3, it faces the wrong way from the sun already. And then 4, like the blinds don't really work, so I barely get any sunlight in here. It probably gets to my desk, which is about 2 feet in front of it, and then that's it. But the rest of my room is pitch black unless I have lights on. So that's why in a lot of videos you see me with so many lights on, because my room is so dark otherwise. And so he was just a bit like, you need to go see the sun. You haven't seen the sun in like a week. Actually more than that, because we went to take my friend back at like 7-8 o'clock at night, and so like it was already dark, so I hadn't seen the sun since Wednesday last week. And so he was like, you need to go out. And so I did, and yeah, there's a lot more people out than I thought there was gonna be. I probably, just stepping out my door, I already saw like 5-6 different people. And then as I walked down a bit more down the street, there was probably 20-30 people just sat in the square, like the major square in the city. And that was a big shock. I tried to take some footage, but I didn't want to make people more uncomfortable than they already were, so it was a bit sneaky. Also, I want to clarify, I was only out for max 20 minutes. I tried to distance as much as possible. I made sure I wasn't ill. Again, I've been, apart from like the occasional asthma cough, I haven't coughed, haven't had a fever, haven't really struggled breathing unless it was my anxiety. But I can tell the difference between whether it's asthma and anxiety versus something new, so I'm completely clean. I made sure to wash my hands before I went out, just to doubly be safe. I washed my hands when I came back, disinfected everything when I came back, disinfected my phone, disinfected my key, my thermostat, which I put my key on, my light switch, my door handles, all that good stuff. So I am taking precaution, but I was surprised because nobody else was really taking those precautions from what I saw. Like, people were walking close together, people didn't really step out your way unless, like, as a social distancing bit, our government is recommending 2 meters distance. I barely saw anybody do that. People were sat really close together. So it was really weird. Like, people just didn't seem to care. And a few people in the shops and like a few shopkeepers did actually mention that just offhand. But yeah, first I went into Poundland, which is like around the corner from where I live, and they have so many supplies. I was actually quite surprised. Like, I managed to get some toilet roll and some soap. I have a bit of both left, but I wanted to be extra sure because now I'm not going to leave again for at least another week to make sure. So my idea was to go out every week also, because I'm pretty introverted. I'm fine staying at home all the time. I'm a homebody, so it's not really a big problem for me. Or if I'm really that desperate, I'll just go and stand outside my front door, like the front door of my building, for a bit and then come back in. That was really weird to see the amount of supplies. So I wanted to get some more soap because both my containers so far only have about half. And like, I got some soap and some toilet roll way before this all happened, so I did have quite a good supply. Like, I didn't even know this was going to hit the UK. This is when it was back in China, and we didn't really have any worries about it coming over to the UK. And so I accidentally bought 34 toilet rolls just because they were on offer, and I was like, I'm going to stock up so I don't have to keep buying it, and it was cheap. And I bought quite a big thing of soap just because I had run out, and that was about 2 weeks before this all hit, so I was pretty stocked for soap, and then my friend gave me some more soap. But both of those are half empty now, so I just wanted to get a small one for my kitchen just to be sure. And obviously just a bit of toilet roll in case I need to blow my nose, like some really cheap stuff. Or because I don't carry paper towels, just to like wipe stuff down and make sure it's disinfected, things like that. But yeah, I think people have just forgotten about like Poundland like Harrods and stuff like that, because there was so much stuff there. Also, they had redone my Poundland, so now there's like freezer space and everything, so got some more food. But yeah, I was really shocked. And then I went into Sainsbury's. One Sainsbury's is like a small Sainsbury's local. It was packed, which again I was really surprised about. There was 2 or 3 like bus drivers, which I'll get onto in a minute, so that was understandable because all of our transport is still running. But right, I think that there was just some people outside my door. Where was I? But yeah, like the shops, they weren't as busy as they usually were, which I was expecting, but they were still busier than I thought they would be. But yeah, again, people weren't really abiding by the social distancing kind of aspect, whatever. They managed to find some pasta though. It was expensive, but I bought some. But yeah, there was police dotted around. We have like this big, I don't know, like council house kind of thing. I don't really know what to call it, but yeah, there was police just kind of stationed there to make sure everybody was okay. They were happily talking to the public. Like if you wanted to ask them a question about whatever, have a little chit chat, they were fine with it. I saw some people do that. All the banks were open, which again wasn't that surprised about. I do live near like quite a big circulation of banks, so that's what I was theorising to my boyfriend, like why that many people were probably there. I can't really see, all the shops are closed, like apart from grocery stores now. So I can't really see why people would be there unless they're either going to the kind of like walk-in centre, which is a bit further into the city centre, or if they were going to banks. Like there were quite a few people walking in and out of banks, but yeah, all the other stores were closed, all of the fast food chains were closed. It was just a bit weird. And I do want to clarify, it wasn't as busy as it usually is. Usually Nottingham is packed, especially when it's like public holidays, weekends, whatever. So this is pretty quiet for Nottingham. So I'm not complaining about that. I was just kind of confused as to why people weren't abiding by social distancing when like there was just people sat around. And I will admit quite a few of them I could see were either homeless people, people who usually go to shelters, people who can't really afford to be at home kind of thing. Like, and I'm not saying that to disrespect them, I've just seen quite a few of these as I've done soup runs with my uni before, so I do recognise quite a few of these people. I understand that aspect, but it was just like teenagers riding around on bikes and stuff, which I didn't understand. But yeah, all of the, I don't know if you could see, I don't know how well these clips came out, but the transport was still running. Trams seemed to be a lot quieter than usual, and well, both buses and trams seemed a lot quieter than usual, but all of the same bus routes I could see were running, like all the usual ones. And from what I could tell, there was less trams running than usual, but they were all pretty empty anyway. What I also noticed, but I don't think I picked up on camera, was I couldn't find where it was, but there was a speaker somewhere playing like public warnings to social distance and stuff like that, which I found like very dystopian and kind of disturbing, but I understand why it's needed. It was just, it kind of freaked me out a bit because I walked into like Market Square and just heard this and I was like, okay, like that's a bit weird. The kittens are still out in the kitty cafe. I live near like one of these cafes where you can go in, there's like cats everywhere, and so I saw some kitties. That was nice. I really miss my cat, so that kind of made me cheer up a little bit. And there was also a guy whistling. There was like a bus driver just walking around whistling as he was like going to his bus, I guess, and that made me happy as well, just to see somebody so happy in such a shitty time. It was really nice. But yeah, I think those are all my thoughts on my little outing. Yeah, I was just a bit surprised with like how many people are still out and how they weren't abiding by social distancing. I just got a breaking news article, I think it's about the Olympics in Japan being cancelled. I know the UK isn't on lockdown as heavily as some countries, and I feel like if people still take the piss, they are going to lock us down further, so that's why I went out, got a bit more food, I'm going to prep a bit more. Also, we're not 100% sure how long this is going to last. At the moment, we're locked down for 3 weeks, but it could easily transfer to 4, 5, 6. So I'm gradually stocking up still. I'm not going out panic buying. I still need to do that video on how to stock up sensibly. So I just got a bit more freezer food. Poundland was plentiful in freezer food now because they changed everything around, and I don't think people realise that they do freezer food now. At least the Poundland I live near, which is quite a big one. But yeah, I think that's about it. Oh yeah, also please tell me like how your city is doing if you're in the UK, Spain, whatever. I wish you all the best if you're locked down as well. Like, it's a scary time, but we'll get through this. I'm definitely more optimistic than I was yesterday. So, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you like the insight and all the kitties and all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.